is mute you, mute me, and we're going to have a little bit of music.
Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhuvasvatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ Bhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam.
Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome and greetings to the Akashic Collective community reading. I want to welcome you today. We've got quite a number of people here that are watching our live stream. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Marie Pizarro, and I want to introduce you to these two lovely readers today. We have the lovely Miss Karen Schaub and the lovely Miss Karen. So say hello, ladies. Oh, wait.
Hi.
I'm going to figure this out.
Wait, which way are we going?
Okay, one more time. Slight delay, you guys. We've got a lot of technology glitches, but you know what's not going to stop us because we've got a lot of questions. We've got 10 questions to cover today. I want to thank you so much. If you submitted a question, please consider submitting your question for December because the earlier you get it in, the greater your likelihood of getting your question answered. We have quite a few that won't be answered, but we're going to figure out how we can support you guys. All right. Welcome, everyone. And I want to also thank these lovely Akashic Record Readers here. We've got the lovely Miss Cannon and Karen. These are two excellent Akashic Record Readers. So if you are looking to get a reading or if you're curious about the Akashic Records, both of these lovely ladies can help you. Now we've got some questions to answer, so we're going to dive in so we can really maximize our time together. Our very first question actually comes from Mary. So Mary has this question, and we're going to basically answer these questions one at a time, and then we're going to go on to the second question afterwards. So we've got 10 questions, and we're going to take this first question. What steps should I take to have a career as a medical librarian working remotely or closer to my new current home address? So this is the question Mary has, and I'm just going to bring us back to the readers. And whenever Karen, or myself are ready, we're just going to jump in with a little bit of information for Mary around this question. What steps should I take to have a career as a medical librarian working remotely or closer to my current home and address?
I'm receiving an image of an altar that she should set up in her home to manifest and also make a decision on does she want to work remotely or would she prefer to work closer to her home, and then set up an altar and manifest it in writing every morning the job she wants and where it is.
Thank you. What a great answer. Thank you, Karen.
The first thing that came to me was this idea of confidence, self-confidence, and feeling like you have the confidence within you to do this, and that going along with what Cannon said, this idea of manifestation. And also, I'm seeing you surrounded by a circle of people. So it's really important, I think, for you to think of how and use your imagination and go through a day of how you think you're going to feel working at home. Going through that process will help you get a little bit more mindful about how it's going to be for you. We're just cautioning you around the idea of working from home. May not be 100% for you. It may be something that you think sounds good, but we want you to look at that just from the aspect of your personality, how you feel about people, whether or not you want a circle of people around you, and how you would be able to manifest that circle of people around you outside of your work if you were working remotely.
Great. Thank you so much, Karen. What a great answer. So, with this question, there were three answers that showed up here. One of the answers they say that the record keepers suggested was they're inviting you to research who offers medical librarian training around you. And this can include universities, colleges, programs offline and online. And the reason why is they're suggesting that some of these places will also offer placement assistance. The second thing they're suggesting are see what companies are actually available that offers this type of work. There is a great likelihood that you can do the remote work. One of the things they do want to stress, the record keepers want to stress, is are you in a position to want to work remotely, or is there an aspect of you that thrives with company of people? Because you may find that in working remotely, some of the challenges there, you may not have anyone to go to for help or for questions. So these are some of the factors that they ask you to consider, along with some of the other suggestions from the readers. Thank you very much for that question, Mary. We're going to go to our second question. Is there anything beyond more practice? Oh, actually, some of these questions are much longer. So let me actually read the entire question so you understand what the heart of the question is. I am truly enjoying working in the Akashic Records. One thing that is present for me is that I seem to have trouble recognizing information that first awaits myself or others when opening the records. And additionally, questions that are very broad, examples like what is my purpose, sometimes I also have an issue receiving the messages. Is there anything beyond more practice and directly asking that I can do to help increase my ability to receive in the ways described? So I'm just going to ask you, readers, to look at this question, sit with this energy for a moment, and then we're going to move on to your answers. Okay.
The first thing that's coming up is this idea of disconnecting your thinking mind. And to do that, you have to have trust. Because often when we work in the records or when we work anywhere in this life, the first thing that we do is put our mind in gear. And it's the last thing we want to do when we work in the Akashic Records. So you want to be more trusting and have that blank slate so that when the readers will come through to you in different ways, and they'll come through to you in ways that don't come through to others. So perhaps you might hear a song playing in your ear, or all of a sudden you may see a red box. So the first thing you see is the thing that you need to like latch onto, because that's what the record keepers are giving to you. And then trust, and then open your mouth and say, I see a red box. And then they will give you the next step and the next step. The answers are not going to appear to you all in one go. You have to use your trust and take step by step. Trust in yourself, have the ability to release yourself really, and trust in the record keepers that they will be there for you, and that whatever comes across, the very first thing that comes across your consciousness is something for you to latch onto, and with trust speak and move forward in that vein.
I want to affirm what Karen just shared, and also to suggest that by mentioning the first thing that comes across his consciousness, he'll receive some confirmation perhaps from the client, and that will help bolster his confidence. Also, automatic writing. I'm not sure if James is doing automatic writing, but that was suggested as something that will help him connect to the information on a more like minute level, and that will give him more confidence. And then lastly, working with crystal grids. If he's not already working with crystal grids, to definitely make sure that he incorporates some crystal grids into his setting up of his sacred space.
Great answer there, Cannon. Okay, James, there's three things that the record keepers want to relay to you, because what they're saying is that you're thinking too much from up here, and that's causing you to feel like you're overworking, you're overdoing it. And what they're suggesting is to think from different areas of the body. So you can actually think from a lot of different organs. You can think from your heart, you can think from your gut, you can think from your second chakras in your hands. So that's what they're asking you to do, is to practice seeing which of your psychic channels are really the most receptive. If you're relying the information to come through here too often, then that's challenging the logical mind to want to be right all the time. This is one of the reasons why they're really encouraging you to think and work from the place of the Sacred Heart. The second thing they're suggesting is to actually try using your pendulum and to find out where are the areas of the body that may be filtering or holding back the full flow. And by doing that, you can ask the record keepers to open the field to 360 degrees, or you can take your pendulum and ask for the physical layer to open to 360 degrees. You can ask the emotional layer, the mental layer, the spiritual layer, and then you can ask for 100% full connection into the Akashic field and the Akashic realms. The third answer they want to encourage you to consider is practice working with your record keepers daily. To channel something, to ask them a question that only pertains to you. So when they ask you to channel with them daily, what they're really doing is they're growing and expanding your channel to be able to communicate directly with them. So they want you to know you're on the right track. So keep on going, friend. All right. Good job there, readers. We're going to jump into our third question. Our third question is coming from Suzanne, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background around what this question is. This is probably a weird request. I sometimes smell cigarette smoke as if someone around me is smoking, but no one is. There seems to be no rhyme or reason for the timing. It just pops up and I smell the smoke. No one else smells it. What may I know about this? Is it an ancestor trying to tell me something? I don't smoke. Thank you. All right, so I want you all to just tune into this question. No one else smells this, but Suzanne does. And for those of you that are watching the live stream, you can't always see what the other readers are doing, but I will just share that as I was reading this question, I noticed Cannon was yawning. Cannon was yawning not because Cannon's sleepy or that she needs more oxygen in her brain. She's plenty smart. I think that there's a reason for why Cannon is yawning. So we're going to bring you back up here, Cannon, and you have something for Suzanne. I'd love to hear it.
I do. As this question first appeared, I was getting the strong presence of an ancestor, an older gentleman in, I would say, like gold rush times. I'm not quite sure how to describe that time of America, but I mean, he rolls his own cigarettes and he smokes them and is there with her as almost a protection energy. And when she smells it, she should know she's protected and cared for.
Okay, very cool. There was a reason why Cannon was yawning. So,
Still yawning, stifling a yawn.
That's so cool, Cannon, because the vision that I got was of a gentleman as well, and I'm like, how am I going to describe this guy? And then you said this gold rush. He had sort of
Yeah.
like a crinkled hat on, and
Yeah.
he looked a little, a little rough around the edges.
Hmm.
I got that maybe he was some sort of an uncle, but I'm not sure from what generation, but definitely from her family. Um, the idea that I got from him is just that he's watching over her and he's encouraging her to take some risks and take some chances like he did. If he was from the gold rush, then he took a chance to go out into the world and make something of himself that took a little bit of courage. And he's just watching her and encouraging her to take a risk, to step out of her comfort zone, and he says that there's a line in her family that runs through this sort of wild spirit, and she has that in her, but sometimes she forgets about it. And so he wants her to know to step out and do your family proud, do something that's a little different from what your circle is doing for you around you, because you're a different breed.
I love it. It's so rare when we come together as readers in the Akashic Records where all three readers will literally get the same thing. And Suzanne, Cannon got this gold rush person, Karen got this older gentleman, family member also connected to you from that time. And I'm the third person to verify it, Suzanne. I'm just letting you know that as soon as we asked the question, the record keeper showed this older gentleman also smoking, but this time he was smoking a pipe. So he's got a pipe, he's got a tobacco, he can do either pipe or, a roll your own cigarette. What's really interesting about this is that it's a reminder. The smoke is actually a reminder for you to trigger your memory, to be bold. And what's interesting is the message that I heard when we were opening the question was, don't judge me. I enjoy this. So it's really an invitation for you to kind of get past the judgment of what must this thing be. It's an uncomfortable smell. It smells bad. It's really a trigger to open your cellular memory to help you remember your gifts. So great job, Karen. Great job, Cannon. I think this is our fourth or fifth a community call. And this is the first time that I have to say all the readers got the same answer. So you know what that requires? Woo! What a celebration. We are doing so good. Okay, guys. So we are going to go on to our fourth question. Okay. Now, this is a very direct question. And most of the time when you work in the Akashic Records with readers, these answers, these questions, they build up. Sometimes the record keepers may ask counter questions. This is the question that Rachel is asking. Is marrying Sam a good choice? Or is marrying Sam a choice that's aligned with my highest good? Is marrying Sam a choice that's aligned with my highest good? So I'm just going to ask the readers to look at this right now. And then we're going to go in and start answering the question in just a moment. So I'm just going to jump in real quick here for Rachel with your question, is marrying Sam a choice that's aligned with my highest good? And the response is, it can be. But what really you have to look at is, where do you stand with that question? If you really love and believe that this person is the right partner for you, then that question is actually showing where there is an aspect of you that may not have full confidence in the answer of a yes. So before you jump fully in, they're asking you to take a little step back and examine why there is hesitation. where the doubt might be coming from, because they just show it can be. He can be.
I was getting that there needed to be some more time. And so that, to me, that aligns with it can be. Just more time is needed for this to develop to a yes.
When I get a question like this, I always look at the energy, or the record keeper show me the energy of the two people involved. And Ra- excuse me, Rachel, when I saw your energy, I saw someone like throwing flowers up in the air, like, woohoo, life is awesome, flowers everywhere, big smile on your face. And the picture that I saw of Sam was someone who was like focused on a computer, really quiet inside, but with a really kind heart, like a heart of gold. So really, it's a choice for you. It's a choice of, is a quiet man with a heart of gold a little more introverted, a little, is that your choice? Or will you prefer someone who is throwing out there, throwing flowers in the air with you? And really, it just boils down to personal choice. This is a good person. You're a good person. You do have your differences. Sometimes those differences are golden and sometimes they're not. And that's just something that needs to be worked out. You need to have more experiences with him to notice that when you're out there throwing flowers and he's home on the computer, that you're a-okay with that, because when you get home, things are great. Or are you always wishing he was someone that he's not? Because people usually don't change very much.
Ooh, that's very deep there. So, Rachel, if you're watching this live stream or you're catching the replay, I would just sit with that question for a moment and realize there's no rush. Unless you have a wedding date already planned and you've got all these little factors like, I don't know, the location, the honeymoon, the invitations are already out. If this is coming with an aspect of cold feet, then just think about some of the answers that are showing up here for you to really decide if this is the right person for you. So, thank you, Rachel, for your question. We're going to go on to our next question here. Let's take a look. All right, so this has a little interesting background. I'm just going to read you the entire question because it's very direct, but there was a lot of gratitude in this question. Dear Lord of Akashic Records, could you please let me know what lessons I should learn in this lifetime? Thank you very much, and please accept my gratitude. Well, hello, Wang. Thank you very much for your kindness. We're going to just have you guys sit with this question, what lessons I should learn in this lifetime. We're going to just come into the readers and let us see what answers Canon or Karen or I have.
This question came with a lot of power behind it. This question is coming from someone who has an immense talent and power within them, and their lesson in this lifetime is to tap into it and to embrace it and to allow it.
Very nice.
I too felt a little like rush of energy with the question, and like a little bit of that sparkle energy came in. And so the first thing that came up, that the record keepers told me was, love yourself, trust yourself, and expand yourself. You really are a jewel, and you really don't realize what a jewel you are. And when you need to start with loving and trusting and seeing yourself and letting your light shine. And when you do that, it doesn't really matter what you do in your life. It's all about your light and letting it shine. But until you believe that that light is within you, no one else will even see it. So you have to turn on that light from within, my friend. Let it shine out. And then no matter what steps you take in your life, it's going to be a thumbs up, and you're going to glow.
Beautiful. Great answer there, Canon and Karen. Well, Wang, I want to just pass on what the record keepers shared while they were asking, well, we were asking that question, and Cannon and Karen were both sharing. One of their suggestions is don't be afraid to live boldly. Okay. The reason why Cannon and Karen are getting this immediate hit that you have this power, you have this energy, is that if there's any aspect of you that is trying to dim that down so you fit into the box and try to fill the status quo, you're never going to be happy. There's always going to be a part of you that's here to go big and go bold. So their second suggestion was dream big and give yourself permission to have the dream life. This is what you came back here for. You asked for a chance to prove that you have the ability to live outside of the norm. So what's going to really support that is self-love and acceptance. So this is a major lesson that so many people, so many souls have to learn on this earth plane, because once you really anchor that self-love and acceptance, everything that follows is just icing on the cake. Icing. That means you get these two down and you're rocking it. Okay? So thank you so much, Wang, for asking that question. I think that question is really, really helpful, because I think it's the kind of question that can apply across the board to so many people. All right. Thank you, Wang, for your question. We're going to keep on going here. Ladies, we're going to go here. Hopefully this is the right question. Okay. This is a question from Christine. Now, I am going to read a little bit of background information because this is a big question. I'm having a rough one letting go of my old world, truth / relationship / industry, and my role. I feel like I did everything right. And somehow, now that the pandemic is, quote, over, end quote, I have been erased and left out / excluded. I just want to release and snip and let go of the moth to flame like draw to go look and see all that they are moving ahead and doing without me. I worked at a performing arts center and did 245 shows in 2019. Wow. You're a badass there, Miss Christine. That will be maybe 10 years to do that volume again. And although it is not a choice and I have manifested money and freedom in the now, so what's hard, right? Also, I feel like forgotten. Like, doesn't anyone ask for me or miss me? I raise so much there of vibe and money. But I know it is one's decision who is threatened by my light or something. I feel for bad behavior / dethroned and shamed of my whole life and persona and never did anything wrong, and I feel used and snaked along. Anyway, I want a healing and to erase this pain, busy, low vibe habit and find new passion or interest or life, because I'm literally not knowing what it is. It could be, but maybe it is not about new. It is about letting go, and nothing feels new or good when in both worlds. So the question really is, when and how will I stop feeling this pain and jump through the portal and not feel obsessive pain or fury of just letting go? That was a big, deep question, guys. So we're just going to sit with this question for a moment before we turn to the readers for the answers. Okay. So I'm going to bring you guys back here to the screen. I'm just going to reinforce the question that Christine asked. When and how will I stop feeling this pain and jump through the portal and not feel obsessive pain / fury of just letting go? I'm going to just jump in real quick, if that's okay. What I'm seeing and hearing here, Christine, is that they can do a lot to the external body. They can do a lot to the physical body. As in, when you come to Earth, there's a lot of things that can happen to you and be done to you, either by people or organizations. But what they don't touch is your light. That's your inner light. That's your light body that's connected to source. And when you ask when and how will I stop feeling this pain? This is really a two-part question. When you ask when, they're letting you know that when you're ready to really drop it and walk away from it, knowing that you're fully supported, is when you'll start to be able to feel like it's a past. And they see that you're caught between the past and the future. So it's really important to bring yourself fully into the present now. Because when you ask when, they're letting you know it's now. It is now is the only time that matters. And when you ask, how will I stop feeling this? They're asking you to give it to source first. Give it to God. Say, this is so unbearably painful. I can't hold it anymore, so I'm going to offer it to you and you take it from me. The second thing they're asking you to do is to start trusting in your divine destiny, because you are here to be this beautiful light body to touch all these people's lives and to keep on going. You're not here to be held back by the past to remind people, this is what I've done. Aren't I worth something? You're worthy because you say you're worthy and you give yourself that love to acknowledge that worth. And how you'll be able to move through this portal is to be able to realize that this is part of the past, and where you're going into your present and future is so much bigger, better, and even more glorious, that in a way you're not here to see it, because you're being asked to cut your cords, let it go, bless those people so that you can acknowledge what you're going to be getting.
First thing that the record keepers want to say is to be easy on yourself. This, you may feel like you're alone in this situation, but this is actually a situation that many people feel before they make their big breakthrough into their who they really are. Often people will feel like they had a knife in the back. What we're seeing from you from an energetic perspective is that you took a big blow to your solar plexus, and you also took a big blow to your heart chakra. So not only do you have a knife in the back, but you have a boot in the gut. And so when you have a damage like that that's done to the energy fields of your body, then often it's time for you to take some time to repair some of that work that was done, some of that damage that was done to the etheric body. So whether that's through, practicing energy healing with, working it through yourself, or finding a practitioner to help balance out your chakras again and bring you back into a state of feeling your own personal strength. That's something that we would definitely recommend. Also, practices like emotional freedom technique, pendulum healing, other types of energy healing that you can do on your own. You can look up emotional freedom technique, and there's many practitioners just on YouTube that you can go through. So releasing some of this energy from your field, because this is something that you've taken on within your energy field, and this is where that release needs to happen. Also, for your mind to realize that what happened to you was not about you and your worth, but about an organization and their focus. And because their focus was not you does not mean that you're not worthy. In fact, perhaps what the universe is telling you here is that you are too worthy for this, or you're not a good match for this organization. And so it's time for you to move on, but you need a little bit of help in doing that. But we see that this is actually a very exciting time for you, where you're at the crossroads of shaking this off and moving forward. But first of all, you have to love yourself enough to heal and to know your own worthiness, despite what anyone says. And once you learn this lesson, the universe is your oyster.
That was great, Karen. I always love hearing how you read energy. There are a couple things came up from the record keepers for me. One was that and I think Anne touched on this, living in the past and living in the future, but not living in the present. And once you start living in the present, the when and how will fall away. Also, working with the violet flame to release this energy will be really helpful for you to transmute it and let it go, because until you, it's not lifting you up, so it's holding you back. And most importantly, it was really important for you to release, even though this position was so incredible for you, it was really important for you to release it in order for you to timeline jump to the next thing. So it's really important to put it down so you can fly.
Beautiful. All right, Miss Christine, I hope you got that message, because we want you to know you're about to cross that portal and experience some freedom. So that's what's waiting for you, friend. All right. Thank you, readers. We're going to keep on jumping on a little bit further. We've got 4 more questions. I want to make sure that we honor those answers. All right, so here is a very direct question. I am currently working on activating my spiritual gifts. What are the main blocks, or what are the main things blocking me from being able to do that? Now, you guys aren't seeing this. You might be hearing this, but I'm getting a visual of Miss Cannon yawning again. And I know this, when the yawns come, that's a message from the guides and angels. So, Miss Cannon, what might be showing up for you?
I need just a second to sit with this.
Hey.
Oh, and my doormen are calling me, so we'll just ignore that.
Why don't we go ahead and grab that, and we're just gonna let either Karen or myself. So, what are the main things that are blocking me from able to activate my spiritual gifts? Well, Brianna, I just want to jump in and share that what they're pointing out to you is the word block. And a block doesn't actually exist until one calls it as it. Because when you ask, what are the main things blocking me from being able to do that? They're letting you know the first answer is nothing. There's nothing that's blocking you from being able to activate and use your spiritual gifts, because they're already activated. You showed up on this plane with them active. Throughout this life, it's just a process of recognizing, tuning into them, and utilizing them. So the first answer is nothing. The second thing that they want to address is that time, desire, attention, and space to actually utilize those gifts. So there's one thing to say, I want to be able to read the tarot cards, as an example. And then you take a class, you learn how to read the tarot cards, you're good. But if there's a part of you that says, I want to learn how to read the tarot cards so I can read for others, then you have to think about what does that require from me to do that. So space is one of those things that they're bringing up in terms of how you can offer your spiritual gifts. And the last thing they're sharing is that there's a part of you that feels like you have to do something to make it show up, when in fact, it's as easy as stepping aside to let your guides show you who you really are. So that's what they want to share, Brianna.
I'm gonna just jump in because I've had some time to receive, and one of the words that's so popular in your bar groups, Anne, is allowing. So versus activating, allowing, remembering. And also the record keepers were nudging me to mention energetic hygiene and to make sure that you are keeping your energy field clear and grounded. And I also agree, a block is a block is a block when you call it a block. So allow.
What the record keepers were asking me to talk to you about, Brianna, was the definition that you have of what spiritual gifts are. You see spiritual gifts in other people, or perhaps you've read about them or seen people on YouTube or whatever, and you're working toward that end, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, your spiritual gift is you. and who you are and how you show up in the world. So the record keeper showed me a vision of you just having lunch with someone and reaching out your hand and touching their arm and listening to them really deeply, and just being with them and holding space. And you don't realize it, but oftentimes when people leave you, they leave you feeling so much better. They feel like a weight's been taken off their shoulders. They're usually not going to come back and tell you that, but so many people, you've helped so many people already. And so it's this idea of allowing you to be you and noticing a little more about what good you are doing in the world, about how people do smile back at you, about how people are attracted to you. And once you start to notice yourself, not the natural you, without even trying, your spiritual gifts are helping people every single day. The spirit of you is helping people. So once you start noticing that, allowing that more, and then expanding that natural gift that you have into some of the other areas that you may be interested in, we think that you'll just notice a little bit more relaxation and a little bit of understanding that you're already there, you're already doing it.
That is so good. Oh my gosh, that is so good that there are two words that are really standing out. Canon and Karen. Canon used spiritual hygiene, and Karen said, "You are the spiritual gift." Mind blown. Brianna, what a great answer. Okay, we hope you got that well, friend. We appreciate you for sending your question in. Thank you very much. All right, friends, we're going to go on to the next question. This is a great question. Some of you may be wondering this question yourself in your own work. How can I break through this, and this is, I believe, seemingly impenetrable glass ceiling in my income and career success? All right, so let's just sit with that question. How can we break through this seemingly impenetrable glass ceiling in my income and career success? So I'm going to bring our readers here to just answer this question for Rochelle. How can you break through the impenetrable glass ceiling?
The record keepers are showing me a vision right off the bat of you with this like glass ceiling right here, and you're just focused on it. You're pushing on it, pushing on it, pushing on it. But really, there's openings on either side. So again, it's this idea of the definition that you have of what's holding you back. So you've defined that it's the glass ceiling that's holding you back, but really there are other avenues to the left, to the right, to the front, to the back, all around you. That when you take your focus off this word that you call impenetrable and whatever definition that you have around glass ceiling, realizing that there are other opportunities there for you. And really the big word that we're getting for you is to relax, and also to be in gratitude for what it is that you have around you, for what you have already manifested in your life. And that's not just money or material goods, but it's things like freedom. Perhaps you have some freedoms in your life that other people don't have. Perhaps you have partner who is a wonderful partner, or amazing kids who don't have any health issues, or parents who have supported you all the way through. We're not saying that you have all of those, but that we ask you to look at some of those areas of your life where you can relax. And when you relax, you're going to start noticing to the left and the right, there's ways around. There's ways around. It's this pushing, pushing, pushing that's holding you back. It's almost like you've got some blinders on. So just relax, be in gratitude, um, and ask yourself some of the reasons that you have for pushing ahead, and if what you really want from your life. We're just seeing to maybe a little over focusing in one area.
Thank you.
What what I was being shown was a key in your hand. So there's the glass ceiling, but you have the key to the door to just walk through it. So close. It's and and what the record keepers want me to impart to you is to work on being very clear with what you want to manifest in your career, and be very mindful of the words you're using out loud and to yourself. what you write down to manifest on a daily basis, but just be very clear with what you want. And remember, the key is in your hands. There, as Karen said, there's ways to get around of what is right above you, to the left, to the right. So you're very, very close.
Beautiful. Thank you, Cannon and Karen. Well, Rochelle, there were three things that the record keepers brought up when you asked this question on breaking through this impenetrable ceiling. And one of the suggestions they said was get scrappy, smart, and look for more support. Because there's this element of you that seems to be carrying this weight. Like you have to be the one that makes it all happen. And part of that word of getting scrappy is acknowledging the muscles that you've got to actually bring yourself to this point, that you've built your work to this place. You're recognizing where that level is that you may be stuck at or stopped at. And they're letting you know that it's perceived. It's a perceived illusion. They invite you to think outside of the norm. This is where the smart part is. And then when it comes to support, they're asking you to reach out to more people in your work, in your industry, to see where they could lead you to the next opening, where the next door is. They're encouraging you to really collaborate more with others. And this doesn't necessarily mean you have to collaborate with the same people in your industry. This is where you'll find practitioners, industry leaders, people will go into networking, and then they'll promote the same things to people in the same network. That's just not really your audience. So when they ask you to collaborate with others, join networks where you're able to grow from those relationships rather than feeling like, oh, I'm in this industry or I'm in this world and everybody's doing the same thing. To be able to access so many different kinds of networks will actually show to you that your abilities and skills can be used for other things. And they said ask for more. So until you are willing to recognize what you're worth and what you're due, they're letting you know you're always going to feel like you have to go back to a safe number because it makes others happy. So part of this is acknowledging really your power to be able to command more, to be able to receive more, and most of all, to recognize that any aspect of that perception is really an illusion. There's nothing that's stopping you because they're letting you know that you've had many past lives where you've accomplished so much greater. You've had so much more wealth, but you've also experienced abject poverty. So what they're letting you know is this is a timeline and a time frame where you get to decide how you want to play and who you want to play with. So get scrappy. That's their suggestion. Okay. Thank you, Rochelle. Hope you are listening to this and caught this message. If not, the live stream will be available here in the Akashic Collective. Thank you, guys. We're going to go to our next question. We've got two more questions. We're doing amazing. So this is a great question. Is my love partner from another dimension? And if so, how do we connect? All right. So is this love partner from another dimension? And if so, how do we connect?
So I'm going to jump in on this one. What the record keepers are telling me is not so much another dimension, but another timeline, those are two different things. So dimension is a little more difficult to reach. If they're coming from the 8th or 9th or 12th dimension, and you're here in the 3rd dimension, possibly spending some time in the 4th and 5th, it's going to be more difficult for you to reach them from another dimension. What we're hearing is that is coming more from another timeline, and timelines are shifting for people all of the time. So what we're getting for each of you is that you're each working on yourselves so that you can each move into this new timeline. Neither one of you is ready for the new timeline that you're going to move into, that you're going to meet each other in. And so the message that's around that is finding yourself more and more peace in your life. One of the ways to do this is through meditation, being in nature, living in this now moment, finding peace in your life, forgiving others around you, especially yourself, loving yourself, finding yourself in a state of more and more, if you can, a state of bliss. And the way to do that is to dial back on some of the things in your life that are causing you upset. Meanwhile, your partner may be working on these things as well. And then when you come together in this timeline, which you will flip into at some point when the timing is right, we see that happening with a lot of fanfare and some sparkly energy. But for now, don't worry about it. Focus on yourself. Focus on yourself first. And by focusing too much on the partner, you're going to move into this energy of longing, which is not an energy that is helpful when you're trying to raise your frequency. So what each of you are trying to do is raise your frequency. So we would suggest looking at the frequency table by David Hawkins and noticing every day where you are on that frequency. And as your frequency rises, there's more and more chance that you will meet up with your partner on this other timeline. You can send your partner, and this is not the only partner that you could have. You've just picked up on this individual. There's other partners that you could have. But if you want to focus on this partner, send them love and send them peace, and send them angels to help them come to them, or guides, or have them give them the idea of working with their soul council, that sort of thing, to help them raise their frequency as well. But don't focus too much on this. If it's going to happen, it will be wonderful. If it doesn't happen, if you raise your frequency, it's still going to be wonderful.
Thank you, Karen. That was very rich.
I'm going to focus a little bit on the how do we connect and pull off a little bit of what Karen said. And what the record keepers were telling me to share with you was EFT, which Karen had mentioned earlier for another question, to sort of tap yourself to the timeline of where you can connect with this other person, and to live in the now and work on the now in order to have the then.
Beautiful. Great answer. Anything else coming through for you, Kenan?
Just the color purple.
Oh.
Just a royal galactic purple color. So I'm not sure, I'd love Lisa to circle back to us at some time in the future and let us know if purple was part of when this timeline connection happens. And also, I one other thing, thanks, Anne, is that if it does not happen in this lifetime, there are others.
Beautiful.
There are others.
Yeah, great answer there. Well, I got to tell you, Lisa, your record keepers are a little bit on the funny side. Because when you ask, is my love partner from another dimension? If so, how do we connect? Their response was, yes, you teleport there. I think there's a few technologies we got to catch up on to make that happen. So I was like, really funny there, guys. Can we bring it to the actual answer of these questions? So they actually have 3 answers for you. And what they're asking you, which is building up a lot on what Karen and Cannon are also discussing, is you are the first love partner. You have to recognize that before you can fall in love with anyone, you have to fall in love with yourself first, and to recognize how amazing you are in this dimension, how amazing you are in the 4th dimension, the 5th dimension, the 6th dimension, because there is no doubt that there are dimensional partners for you. Whether or not you actually need to be with those different partners is another matter. But their first suggestion is you are the first love partner. And once you make that love partner bond, and really what it is, it's a bond with yourself and your light body. You're acknowledging your full divinity. Their second suggestion is actually tied to the how do we connect. And their suggestion is write your love story into existence. This is actually a very important way to call that person into your life. And their last suggestion is once you've energetically called that person in your life through the action of writing this beautiful love story. Now visualize what it looks like to be with this person on a third dimensional form, celebrating your first anniversary. Now, what's interesting about this is that they're saying visualize this, but they're not asking you to jump forward in time. They're actually asking you to be present here now and to hold the outcome of, I'm already with my love partner. So, how are we going to celebrate our 1 year anniversary? Now, your brain might think, no, we don't, but your guides are letting you know, yes, you are. So, you got to bring yourself into the present and to play, because how you connect with your divine love partner is through play. It's through allowing. It's through curiosity. It's through wonder. So if you try to control all the factors too hard, then you might actually attract someone who is going to bring you more lessons and hardships to ask you whether or not this is really what you want, versus the ability to just be open to receive what spirit wants to bring you as the divine mirror for you. So write that story into existence. We'd love to read it. At least I would. Okay, so we are down to our very last question. Cannon and Karen, you guys have been amazing. We're going to do one more question, and then we are going to wrap up our call for the day. What does my soul council want me to know about the prospect of working in city government? Should I join Mayor Wu's administration? So just take a moment and tune into this energy, and then we will jump into our answers. Okay, so we're bringing this question for Marielle. What does the Soul Council want me to know about the prospect of working in city government? Should I join Mayor Wu's administration? Well, I just got to tell you, Marielle, they're letting you know when you ask about the prospects of working in city government, they're letting you know that you would make a difference. You have such a loving, compassionate, bold heart. You communicate clearly, and they actually see that you would make an impact because you're riding this wave right now of electing the first minority female mayor. And that's a big deal. And there's a part of you that wants to be part of this change, wants to be part of this energy. And they want you to know it's not something that you're locked into forever. So they're encouraging you to explore it as an option rather than to just completely pass on it, because there are some good things waiting for you here.
I was also getting a message from the record keepers that taking a position in this administration is going to allow you to exercise your voice and to really use your voice, literally and also figuratively, in this administration and help guide it. And your voice is very important, to you and also to the city, and to all of us. So it would be a good move.
The message I got from the record keepers was a little different. The first phrase I got was, it might grind you down. But I believe that's mainly maybe because of what you may be thinking of right now as a job in the administration. Definitely, you have an amazing voice and an amazing ability to bring light and new ideas and energy and excitement. So we just caution you as to the job that you choose within the administration. And we suggest that there may be a job within the administration for you that hasn't exactly been discovered yet. And so what's there for you now, the old types of jobs that are often in city administration, may not be a good fit for you. It may be exciting at first. You may slide in with this great enthusiasm, only to realize that working in government can be a little bit boring. It can be a little bit same old, same old. And So we just ask you to look at the position that you're going to be entering into. And if there's another position that your wonderful imagination, you have a lot of like sort of fairy energy. So when we see you with a magic wand. In fact, we got that beautiful song by that Olivia Newton-John sings about magic that came playing in my ear. So if there's a magical position for you there, something that no one else has thought of, something new and vibrant and amazing, that's the one for you. If you're moving into same old, might not be a good match in the long run.
Great answer. And I like that we have contrast here, which I know is totally going to help Marielle, right? Make her decision. Because you're such a good worker, Marielle. You're so smart. You're so good at what you can do that it'd be great. But we also know how hard you work. So pay attention to Karen's message because it could be a grinder. And I don't think you're in it for the grind. So just think about how much you even want to participate because you've done a lot already. It's a big, big deal. So there's some things for you to consider, and they're inviting you to kind of sit. The record keepers are inviting you to sit with it rather than feeling like you have to make a rush decision. Now, if you have to make a rush decision, they want you to know you're not going to make a wrong decision. So it's important to just make the decision in confidence. Okay.
And also, if you jump in, you can always jump out. Remember that because your energy is very springy. It comes with that magic wand. It's like don't ever feel like you're tied or bound. You're not.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Karen. You know, while you were delivering your message, Karen, about Olivia Newton-John, I could see it, I could hear it, and I was like, I need to find it and I can play it so you guys will get it. But I realized that, I was getting distracted by the music. That happens sometimes, you guys. Well, I want to just totally commend Cannon and Karen for doing such an amazing job. It is not easy, friends, to open 10 Akashic records and receive the answers individually for those individual people and do it in such a level of confidence, trust, clarity, and most of all, fun. That's what makes this work really enjoyable, is that it's really fun and we get to play with some really amazing people. So before we let you go, I want to bring in Cannon as well as Karen and myself. We'll share with you something that we're working on this upcoming season, November, December, January. And then I'm going to show you a special link where you can either connect with Cannon or Karen to work with them as readers. So Cannon, is there something that you've got working on? Anything you'd like to share or offer with our community?
Yes, I am very excited to share that I am doing remote space clearings. So, as you have lots of people in over the holidays, you maybe want to clear the air after Thanksgiving or before and after, or before Hanukkah and Christmas, New Year's, and I am here to assist you with that.
Remember, guys, this is the person who talked about spiritual hygiene. If your place doesn't feel good, feel clean, feel high, feel supportive, how can you operate in it? So call her. She can help you out. And Karen, do you have anything exciting that you've got working on?
I do. I'm actually offering a day retreat in Corpus Christi at a beautiful location on Oso Bay on a lake with one of my clients and friends. It's called My Sacred Journey Retreat, and it's going to be on Saturday, November 20th. From 1 in the afternoon until 9 at night. We're going to have a fire, a cacao ceremony. We're going to have a pyramid there for meditation. I'm going to bring my gong and some crystal bowls. We're going to do some light language and some crafting, some exploration. I'm going to be doing a little bit of teaching on emotional freedom technique. And we're going to be doing some work with healing pendulums. So a lot packed into the day. So if you live in the Corpus area, or if you want to take a trip down to the beautiful Gulf Coast, I still have about 4 spaces left. It's called My Sacred Journey Retreat, and it's on my website right now.
Awesome. And I've seen you getting your retreat together and prepared. It looks so fun. You guys, you deserve a gift. The holidays are coming up. Treat yourself right. Spiritual hygiene. You're the gift. Remember. My thing that I want to share with you is that I'm releasing a book this November on Black Friday, starting Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm releasing my first channeled book directly from the Akashic Records called Discover Your Soul Counsel. So come join me. Consider getting it. Consider being a part of our Earth Angel launch team. We've got some amazing bonuses to send you. So come and play with me, all right? Support this book launch. It's a very short read. It's actually, every time I open the book to read it, I get hit by the messages of the record keepers, and I'm like, I gotta put it down for a minute. So, okay. Now, before I let you go, we have one last thing I want to share, which is this. I want to thank you guys so much. We've had a great call today. We've had some amazing people show up to bring their questions. And I just want you guys to know we have one more Akashic Collective community call. Now, you guys know we only have 10 slots open. So you got to act fast and you got to be ready. So if you want to be a part of the December call, here's the form for you to sign up. So if you're on the live stream right now, you've got access to this form. This form is going through, and most of all, it is letting you know that you can sign up for December because we can only take 10. We got 14, and there's a lot of questions that we couldn't get to. There's a bunch of questions in October we couldn't get to. There's a bunch of questions in September we can't get to. So I may jump in on another live and start answering those questions. And if I can finagle some of these readers to join me, because it's so fun, it really is fun, then we're going to knock it out as our last bonus collective gift. But we're not sure yet. You know, we got to practice some spiritual hygiene. That's like my word for the night, guys. Thank you so much, Canon, for blessing me with that word, because I am just going to be talking to everybody about it. And I got to just share one more thing with you guys, because you guys didn't ask, but I'm going to share with you. So last night I went to see a concert at this location here in Austin. I went to go see this band called Luna. I've loved this band. I've been a fan of theirs since the early 90s. And boy, there was this really super stinky girl. That sister needed to do some spiritual hygiene. Let me tell you. Now I know the word I can drop tonight when I go back to the same place to catch this band again, in case somebody comes up to me and they have blocks, they have issues, they're looking for something. I'm just going to let them know. You got to practice some spiritual hygiene. High five. All right, guys. Thank you so much for playing. Thank you so much, Canon, Miss Schaub, Miss Canon Schaub, and Miss Karen. Now, before I let you guys go, I want to just show you how you can find these readers. Please go to AkashicRecordsGuide.com. AkashicRecordsGuide.com is where you'll find Canon, Karen, Nikki, Sean, Sheila. A lot of the students have gone through becoming Akashic Records Guide. These are seriously the most amazing readers I've ever had the pleasure of working with and receiving readings from. So thank you, Miss Cannon, Miss Karen. I appreciate you ladies so much. Please enjoy your Wednesday night, and thank you ladies for playing. All right, folks, have a blessed day. We will catch you next time. Bless up. Bye-bye.